Hello and welcome to the start of a new series. Last week we finished up the Xapi and Articulate Storyline tutorial series. We had 10, really technical videos, and after that I was thinking about where to take the channel next. I had some video ideas, and one of them was a day in the life of an e-learning designer. I thought that might be useful to show people, what a typical workday is like, might be helpful for people getting into the field. But I decided to take that concept a step further and turn it into this series, eLearning Designer Weekly. So the idea is that every day I'll record some updates about what I'm working on and, challenges I'm facing, goals I have, and even include some good resources that I come across. And then at the end of every week, I'll compile all of that footage into one video so you can get a snapshot of what my week is like. So I think, hopefully this will provide some value because it can show you what it's like working as an instructional designer or e-learning developer. And it will also give you a glimpse into the world of a freelancer who has to, I know personally I'm always working on content and networking, doing live events. Hopefully this series will be interesting and provide some value. We'll see how it goes. So it's Monday morning right now. Right after I stop recording, I'm hopping on a call to help someone with an Xapi project because this Thursday we have an Xapi and Articulate Storyline show and tell event where people who have gone through all of those Xapi and Storyline tutorials that I wrote, they are putting together Xapi enabled projects of their own. So I'm hosting an event this Thursday where people can come and these presenters can present their projects and explain the Xapi functionality and hopefully inspire some people to use Xapi in projects of their own. So I have a couple of meetings scheduled this week to help people get their Xapi projects in final shape for that presentation. So I will see you after that meeting. All right, so I just wrapped up that meeting. Now I'm sitting out here with my Chromebook. This is where I like to work on articles and tutorials. And right now I'm going to work on this article called How to Use LinkedIn Effectively. So last week I was on Reddit and someone made this big post and they were like, "Thank you, Devlin, you helped me, land a gig paying double what I was making before, and I made interviews for these 6-figure jobs." And when they talked about their journey and how they were able to accomplish this, they talked about LinkedIn being an important factor of this journey. So, I already have content about how to create a good portfolio, which they also said was a key part of landing these new opportunities. But I don't have a lot of content that does justice to LinkedIn. So it really inspired me. I mean, over the weekend, I already did this, how to send automated emails from Xapi data. But I felt inspired to go ahead and work on this article too because I think it would really help a lot of people. So I made some good progress on it yesterday. I'm going to try to finish it up and get it online today. So I'll probably be here for the next hour and a half or so finishing up that article, and then hopefully we'll bring it live later today. All right, so I just finished up the first draft of this article. It definitely took a bit longer than expected, but we're coming in at about 3,000 words now. I think it's going to be really helpful for people. You see I left, like placeholders here for screenshots. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to, find all of these screenshots so that it'll make some of these concepts a bit easier to understand. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the cover photo so that I can bring it live on my website. I'll probably do another round of proofreading before I actually bring it live. And then I'll do another round of proofreading after that before sharing it with LinkedIn or my mailing list or anything like that, because no one likes reading typos. And I do appreciate the people who reach out to me when they do find a typo, because sometimes things still slip through the cracks. So I'm going to get to that and get this thing live, and we will see what's in store after that. Okay, and the article is live. So I was able to bring that together. I took screenshots using Snagit, so that makes it really easy. You can add boxes and stuff like that. I created the thumbnail in Illustrator. This is where I work on all of my thumbnails. I can kind of, pick and choose pieces that I want, and I try to make it look nice on the tutorial or article feed with how things are organized. I went ahead and put everything in Webflow. This is the tool that I use to create my website. You see I added the screenshots here, I fixed up all of my links, and then I published it, and now it's live on my site. How to use LinkedIn effectively. So I'll probably go ahead and, I still need to proofread it later today. But what I really wanted to do is, since today is Monday, I need to post a video today, because for the last 10 weeks I've posted a video every Monday, and even though I'm recording now, I'm not actually going to post this video until next Monday. So I was thinking for today it would be good to have like a freelance versus full-time instructional design video, because I get a lot of questions. People ask me, why don't you work at a big tech company? Why are you freelancing? And for me, that's an easy choice. So I think I'm going to try to quickly plan and record that video. It is getting towards the end of the workday, but I can talk about the freelancing thing pretty easily. So we'll see if I can churn out another video today. We're on a roll. Talk to you soon. And we did it. I got the video live. I put together a quick thumbnail. This is actually the first thumbnail I've made. I'm definitely not a professional thumbnail maker by any means, but I thought this would be better than nothing. And then I went ahead and published it. And here it is live on YouTube. So, as you can see, today was a very content-heavy day. I didn't do any client work outside of sending a couple of emails. And that's okay. I mean, this is, creating the content is an important part of building my business. So I do have some days like this. It really does vary depending on the month. And yeah, a couple of my projects are in the final stages where I'm just applying some feedback, and I'll probably do a little bit of client work tomorrow. So I will see you then. Hello, good morning. Today is Tuesday, so it's a new day. Sat down with my coffee, and the first thing I wanted to do was share the YouTube video that I made yesterday on LinkedIn. So, I haven't been sharing the YouTube videos on LinkedIn just because they've all been so technical and XAPI related, and I already share enough about XAPI on here. But I wanted to go ahead and share this one since it seems more applicable to a general audience, because it's about freelancing and full-time work. It seems most people have an opinion about that. So what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on this for the next couple of hours or throughout the day. I try to like and respond to every comment, just to engage with people, and I think this helps the algorithm a little bit. So we'll do that. And while I have LinkedIn up in the background, I'm going to get started on some client work. This client, it's pretty cool. They're they're in the heavy metals industry. It's a company in Canada, and I'm developing a lead awareness training to help their employees reduce their lead exposure. So, I'll share who the client is eventually once the project is wrapping up. But what we did is I used action mapping for this project, and we determined which actions are going to contribute to a higher blood lead level, and which actions do you need to take and which actions do you need to avoid. And then we turned it into a scenario. So I had SMEs on the line. That's where I sourced the content. And we turned it into a bit of a story where the main character has to make choices, suffer consequences if they make the wrong choices. And it's even gamified a little bit so that when they make poor choices, you have a meter where you can see your blood lead level kind of rise as a consequence of the choices you make. So I'm really excited about this e-learning I'm working on. This is like e-learning done right. It's not like an info dump. It's actually going to help people change their behavior. So and not all projects are like that. So that's why I like this one. And where we are with that now is the script/storyboard is done, and I just do that in Google Docs. It's really easy to collaborate with people on there. And the SMEs have given their feedback. I've applied it. So now I'm going to turn it into a narration script or a voiceover script, because people at the client's organization are going to be the ones recording the voiceover. So I'm just going to make it easy and split it up to basically give everyone their part to make it easy for them to record. So that's what I'm going to work on now, and I'll make a few script changes based off of some last minute feedback that got in. Shouldn't take too long, but I'll see you after that. All right, I'm back. I finished up these narration scripts. So just to give you an idea of what I did, all I did was highlight it. I numbered the prompts, I guess you can call them, just to give an easy way to name the files so that I know exactly where these pieces will go. And that's that. I did 3 of them just so that each person who's speaking knows exactly which parts they need to read. I also whipped up a quick email to send to my mailing list. I've been busy recently with how many tutorials and articles I've been putting out. So I wanted to send an announcement about these new Xapi tutorials right here. Can we open them? Let's see. Yep, how to generate a random actor and how to trigger automated emails from Xapi data. So I'm just announcing those, and we can go ahead and send that out. This is to everyone who's confirmed, their opt-in to my mailing list. Looking good. So yeah, 744 people who are confirmed right now, so not horrible. Yeah, it's just been slowly building up over the last 8 to 12 months or so. I think if you're interested in the stats, let's see. This one just sent. I have about a 40 to 45%, 40 to 50% open rate usually, it looks like. Yeah, pretty decent. I mean, you can see it kind of growing by the days. 569 people, 590, 606. So it's interesting. We'll see how the mailing list grows. Yeah, so that is that. Next on the agenda is to upload these crowdcasts. So you'll see here, manage an Xapi project, crowdcast, this live workshop. These are events that I would do on my crowdcast stream, like my live stream. So what I need to do is I need to just download a couple more of the ones I've already done, and I need to, make the thumbnail for it and upload it to YouTube. Just so that if people don't want to provide their email address to view it on Crowdcast, I want to make it available on YouTube a few weeks later so that they can, so that they can view it here on my YouTube channel. So that's what I'll do next, and I will see you then. So I just uploaded the Crowdcast. This is the 9th Crowdcast in the Xapi and Storyline Crowdcast series. So I brought this one to YouTube. I have one more to upload. I'll do that tomorrow. And I got an email from a client who I've been working with ever since I was in my master's program. And basically one of her clients who I helped support 2 years ago, they need some really quick updates to one of their courses. It's like a yearly audit type thing. So I'm gonna spend a couple of hours working on that today. Low budget, quick fixes. And in a little less than an hour, I'm having a tech check with the people who are doing the Xapi and Articulate Storyline show and tell event. So we're gonna hop on a Crowdcast to make sure everyone's able to share their screen and their video and audio, make sure everything's good to go so that we don't have to put out any fires with a live audience. So good idea to do a tech check. And then after that, I'm going with my fiance to see her brother, a quick socially distanced hangout because he's moving across the country. So I'll probably call it a day early today, have some family time. And yeah, that means I will probably see you tomorrow. See you then. Hello. It is now Wednesday. The first thing I did is I finished up those changes for one of my clients that I mentioned yesterday. So I sent that off on Articulate Review just to get some feedback. There shouldn't be much of it. I only made a few changes. So the next thing I'm doing, I have a lot pulled up here because I'm going to proofread this How to Use LinkedIn Effectively article and make those, make the changes as needed because I want to go ahead and share this on the instructional design subreddit because this is where, this is what gave me the idea. So I want to share it here. I also need to send out an email about the Articulate and Xapi show and tell event tomorrow. So there's about 31 people registered so far, but we'll see how many people end up coming on Thursday. Also, and in a couple of hours, I mean, at some point this morning or this afternoon, I'm going to share for the last time this instructional designer salary survey. So I thought it would be a good idea to put out this survey to anyone doing instructional design responsibilities so that we can get an idea of what the average salaries are. I'm going to do some comparisons on self-employed earnings versus full-time earnings. So this is going to be cool. I'm going to share it for the last time on LinkedIn. We'll see if we can maybe get up to 600 responses or so. And then I'm going to write a really detailed report showing these insights, showing the numbers, and I'm just going to host it on my website for free, no signups or anything. So this is my first attempt at a survey like this. And if it goes well, which, I was hoping for 1,000 responses. I don't think I'm going to get there. But I'm pretty happy with how it's gone so far, and I hope people will find the report helpful. So we'll see how that goes. And finally, I'm going to need to upload the last Xapi and Articulate Storyline crowdcast recordings. Again, I don't think this is going to get a lot of views on YouTube, but I like making them available here just for people who don't want to put in their email address. So, in 5 minutes, though, I have another meeting to help someone prepare for that Xapi and Articulate Storyline show and tell. So I'll talk to you after, I'm going to have that meeting. I'm going to get all of this stuff posted to social media, my mailing list, and then I'm going to dive into some client work. So I'll touch base with you then. All right, and I am back. It is 3 o'clock now on Wednesday. I uploaded stuff to social media, uploaded that video I was talking about, and shared that LinkedIn article on Reddit. It's actually getting some good engagement. People are finding it useful, so that makes me happy. And now I'm going to move on to some client work. So this is a company. They're called Gitlab. They provide some nice software to make it easier for developers and everyone who needs to work with developers, like security teams. It helps them work more efficiently and more securely and stuff like that. So Gitlab has this really long curriculum to help salespeople who need to sell or recommend Gitlab to their clients. As you can see, it's very text heavy. It's kind of like a wiki where it links out to different resources. So they came to me to make this a bit more engaging, and my goal was to reduce the cognitive load because this is a lot to look at. But how I wanted to go about it was take it one thing at a time. Give chunk things a bit better, cut out stuff that's not needed or that might not support the learning goals. So, the client wanted to use Storyline for this because that's what they do all of their e-learning in. So I built a simple, I use this clean design, I use this in a lot of my projects. This is text-based, so there's not any narration. The user can click on these buttons to explore these concepts further. Same with this is the DevOps lifecycle. They can explore it step by step. Here's a slider interaction, but that's the idea with this. The projects are, they're not super long Storyline files, but yeah, pretty simple slide designs. It is text-based, and I link out to resources if they want to learn more. Like as you can see here, there's a Learn More button, and that links directly to the Gitlab website. So some feedback came in over the last couple of days, and it seems like that we're just about done with final products for all 3 of these modules. So I'm going to look at the feedback, hopefully apply it. I'm not sure how much feedback there is, but we will see. Hopefully I can wrap that up within the next couple of hours. So I will see you after that. All right, so I applied that feedback and sent off the revisions to the client. Now we're just waiting on final approval and some final decisions about a couple of comments that I left for the client. So now in about an hour and a half, I'm serving as a coach for this ATD Central Ohio event. Karen North asked me to come and help provide feedback to some newer speakers. So the event is called the Emerging Professionals Showcase, and it's where people who are newer to the field are going to give their first conference talk. So I think it's going to be pretty rapid fire. The whole event is 2 hours, but I'm looking forward to give some feedback, to learning something new from these presenters, and I will check in with you once that event is over later tonight. So that event just ended. It was pretty good. A lot of new speakers. It was 2 hours. Feeling a bit tired now. It's 8 o'clock, but I'm jumping right into a call with Kath Ellis. If you don't know who she is, you should. She's an amazing e-learning designer, huge inspiration, And we try to meet every week or two just to bounce ideas off of each other, talk about how our businesses are going, just share what we're learning with each other. So those calls really help me stay motivated, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a late night usually on Wednesdays, but it's worth it. Hello again. It is almost 11:30 on Thursday now, so we're well into the day. My conversation with Kath Ellis last night was awesome, as always, and she agreed to come on the Crowdcast, and we're going to do a live session about building a freelance e-learning business. So I saw in the last YouTube video I posted, there were some comments already about freelancing and wanting more freelancing content. So I think this session will be great. We'll take questions from the audience about getting started, pricing, making the transition, all of that good stuff. And I mean, she's one of the best freelance e-learning designers I know, if not the best. So really excited for that session. I think that will be, the second week of October. And yeah, this morning all I've been doing is a lot of social stuff. So I've been talking to people on the Slack channel I have. I've been responding to emails. I get a lot of submissions to my website, and I don't always respond to them immediately. So because there are some leads, there's some projects people reach out to you about that you just know you're not going to be a good fit for. So within a few days, I try to get back to those people and just let them know, probably not going to be the best fit. A dean from a college, from a university department reached out to me for some e-learning support, and I haven't really done anything for higher ed. So I set up a discovery call with him, and we'll see what they need help with and if there's any kind of value I can provide there. And yeah, in about an hour and a half, we have that Xapi show and tell crowdcast session that I've been talking about, the last few days. So I think that will go really well. We have almost 80 people registered for that, so it will be good. And I will see you after that session. Okay, so we just finished up that Xapi show and tell, and that event went better than I could have imagined. All 6 of the presenters did an awesome job. Some of the projects I hadn't even seen before, but it was beyond expectations. So I'll go ahead and drop the link to that crowdcast in the comments. Check it out if you want to see what's possible with Xapi and Storyline. I think this is probably one of the best sessions you can go to learn about that, just because people are showing off their real projects that they've spent, this time building. So highly recommend that. I'll probably spend the rest of the day. I have some small client requests to take care of, like moving a picture around and publishing a different version of a scoring package. So I'll do a little bit of client stuff, and then I really wanted to play around with something called VQL. It's Xapi related, so a little bit nerdy stuff, but with Veracity, you can build a query based off of this Xapi data to build any kind of visualization your heart desires. So Rob Chadwick, the lead engineer at Veracity, has been introducing me to the language, and I meet with him tomorrow. So I want to get a head start and try using it myself, so that do my homework. All right, so it's Thursday evening now, about to call it a night. I just wanted to show you what I've been working on. So I was able to play around with VQL, and I built this average duration by quiz, and these are all of the quizzes in my Xapi Challenges app. So it shows you the average amount of time that someone spends on each quiz. So you can see 32 seconds over here, people are just flying through this one, and this one over here 123 seconds. So that's kind of interesting. I built the query using VQL, which looks like all codey and kind of maybe confusing if you're not familiar with JSON, but they had some really helpful documentation. So check that out if you're interested in building these custom visualizations in Veracity. But I thought it was fun. And I also had a conversation with this university client. We had a discovery call about an hour ago, and it was a surprisingly really good match, because I was almost expecting him to ask me to create some courses in their learning management system, which isn't something that I really do. I usually build the shorter, more custom interactive e-learning, like simulations and stuff like that. So yeah, he said he's willing to pay for quality, so and we talked about budget, and that's going to work out, it sounds like. and he's on board with my approach, which lately has been using Storyline for more simulation-based stuff, where you're going to use variables. It's a scenario where you're helping someone through their day or something like that, where they have to make choices and see consequences. And then we use Articulate Rise for the more foundational knowledge-based stuff, where the people need to access information quickly or search for what they need. And that's good on me, because for the more information knowledge-based stuff that we want to include in a course, I don't need to spend time figuring out exactly how to lay that out on a Storyline slide. Instead, I can just use Storyline for what it's good for, and that's building these simulations where you need to use variables, animations, maybe voiceover to make it more immersive. So he was on board with that too. So it sounds like a surprisingly good fit. And this would be my first. I think this would be my first higher education client, but it sounds like it's operating more like a typical corporate organization that I'm familiar with, because a lot of these courses are going out to these partners in these different channels. And I think of it now, I have supported some universities, but it's always in that kind of environment. So yeah, it seems like a good fit. I'll keep you updated on how that goes, and I will see you tomorrow on Friday. Hello, we are well into Friday now. It's been a pretty good day so far. So earlier today, I hopped on the TLD cast. It's a channel for the learning and development community. So they do live events fairly often, and then they repost them on YouTube and even in podcast form. So today's session was about how to make the most of LinkedIn. And so when I saw Luis was doing that session, and he was asking, anyone out there who's good with LinkedIn, maybe come on the show and share what you know. And it was really good timing, because it was right after I posted that how to use LinkedIn effectively article. So it was pretty cool. I hopped on. There was a panel of people sharing their LinkedIn experiences and tips. And yeah, I think we got into some good aspects of how to use LinkedIn effectively. So check that out. I also did a crowdcast with the TLDC channel about how to become an instructional designer. So if you're interested in content about how to break into the field, you might want to check that out. I think it's live on their YouTube channel. You can just YouTube like Devlin Peck Crowdcast, and I think that episode is one of the first things that comes up. So that is that. I also met with my Gitlab client today. We went over some of the final feedback. So now I'm just going to apply it, and then once I receive that final payment, I hand over all of the files, and that project is done. I'll work on the write-up for it this weekend in case you're interested in learning more about the project and seeing more of it. So by the time you see this video, that will hopefully be live on my website. Rob Chadwick from Veracity had to reschedule because some big presentation came up. So I'm going to meet with him on Tuesday, and we'll dive more into the VQL XAPI stuff. And finally, this got here today. This is a mic that I can put on the top of my camera right there. And the reason I bought this is because I was looking at the footage from, I think it was Monday, the footage out there in the other room in front of my window, and the audio quality just sounded horrible, and there was like background noise and stuff. So I'm gonna try out this mic. I'll probably use it over the weekend because I'll be sitting out there working on stuff. So I'll record out there, and we'll see what the quality difference is like just from Monday and now over the weekend. So yeah, I'm going to apply those GitLab changes now, and at 5 o'clock I meet with one of my friends who I've been helping break into the field. She's finishing up her master's degree, and we've been working on getting her portfolio in order. So she has a nice looking site now. She has a project up that looks really good. When I talk to her later, I'll see if she's comfortable with me sharing it on the YouTube channel. So maybe I'll chime in, or I'll hop back on camera after that and show off her site a little bit if she's comfortable with it. And if not, then I'll probably see you over the weekend. Bye-bye. All right, I just got off the call with Elena, my friend, and she did give me permission to go ahead and share her portfolio with you. So here it is. It looks good. A quick about me. Here's her project. She only has one right now, but she's adding a second one. It's this really cool XAPI enabled prototype that she actually showed off at the XAPI and Storyline show and tell event that we had yesterday. So here's the project she has up now. It's this Danish greetings project. I'll show off some of the screens. She has this really in-depth write-up that talks about her process so that potential employers can see everything that went into this project and how well thought out it was. So here are the screens. They're nice and colorful. It is scenario based in some ways. You have to choose how to respond to these characters and face the consequences. So this is neat. The website is elenaprincey.com if you want to check it out and see an example of someone who's just breaking into the field. She did just finish her master's recently, so it will be interesting seeing which company she winds up at for this instructional design and e-learning development work. So that is that. Over the weekend, again, I am going to work on the Gitlab portfolio piece write-up. So that's what I'll be working on tomorrow and possibly the next day. So I will check in with you then. Bye-bye. Hi again. Today is Sunday, so I skipped filming yesterday, but it has been a pretty productive weekend overall, I must say. The first thing I want to show you is the Gitlab write-up. So you can see now I have the Gitlab logo right front and center on this brand bar right here. And then if you scroll down a bit, you can see I added this featured project write-up. So this is what I was busy with yesterday. This is the content in its original state. I just showed a quick screenshot of that. I talked about my design approach to reduce that cognitive load and chunk the content better. And then I showed off a lot of screenshots and talked through my design approach using examples from the course. So, I liked this screen too. Whenever you hover over one of these people, the background, it loses that purple overlay. The person changes their pose and then they smile. So that was nice. Again, talked a lot about chunking, interactivity, and just showed off some screenshots. So that is that. Today, just now, I was working on creating a thumbnail for this week's crowdcast. I don't know if I talked about it already, but I'm going to do an articulate storyline workshop. And the idea is that I'll put some options here, I think, about what we'll build together. And then once everyone gets in this session, they'll vote on what we're going to build. And then I'll build that with the live audience. People will ask questions about storyline best practices, and I'll just share what I know about, finding graphics, using storyline shortcuts, basically just helping people use storyline more efficiently. So we'll see how this goes. That's going to go live this Thursday. And then also today I started looking through this data. This is all of the 2020 ID salary survey data because, again, these polls are closed now, and I do want to get this report up next week if possible. So I'm still going through and I'm converting people who reported their earnings in different currencies to US dollars just so I can do some find some averages worldwide. But this number right here, this is the average full-time instructional designer salary in the United States. So that is about 79.8K US dollars is the average. So I spent the morning kind of cleaning up some of this data. There were a lot of people who completed the survey, but they were full-time or they were directors or managers or trainers. So I tried to, keep it just to e-learning designers, instructional designers, learning consultants. You get the idea. Training specialists, because I figured those people might be creating training materials like IDs would. So that's where we're at, 79.8K. That full report should be coming this week. I'm going to make some nice visualizations and all that fun stuff. I didn't record out in the other room with the new mic as promised, just because I needed a battery. And to be honest, I've been doing a lot of my work here on this computer this weekend. So testing that out will have to wait until next week. If I have time today, I'll probably start editing this video, the one that's going live tomorrow, where we're going to see what I did for this past week. So I'm going to edit that. I'm going to try to add some overlays, just to show on the screen what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. I mean, I don't know why I'm explaining this because you'll see it live. But yeah, I'll be playing around in Adobe Premiere to do that. And yeah, I think that will be a wrap to this first week's video. So please let me know in the comments what you think about this format. Again, this is an experiment for me. I don't know if this is going to be valuable or if it's just going to be me talking at you for 30 minutes. I don't really know. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought. If there's anything you want me to dive into more, let me know. If there's anything that you could probably do without, any feedback at this stage is welcome. So I'm gonna start recording tomorrow and plan to do this for another week, but I'm really curious to see how you guys like this content and if it's something you want to see more of. So let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.